Fall. You are alone, child.
The Lich is one of Adventure Time's most iconic characters, and the literary concepts he's meant to embody are rather straightforward. Death, entropy, evil, those are all definitely things that the Lich is meant to portray. But I'd like to talk about a different one. The Lich is a being that can barely be considered a person. He is eternal, undying, and exists for one solitary purpose: to bring ruin. That is what we perceive, because what the Lich truly represents is beyond human perception. But first, let's talk about Stoicism. Because you may be wondering why I decided to make a video on an old guy we've known for years when there's new content out. But the ideas of Adventure Time are ideas I find myself drawn back to again and again. Determinism is central to Stoic belief. Determinism is the belief that the universe and all events that occur run along a predetermined or at least unalterable course from the beginning of time until the end. The universe is moving towards a point, whether it is by the will of an ultimate consciousness or an endless chain of natural cause and effect. Marcus Aurelius discussed both of these points at length. The idea of natural causality states that all actions are a result of previous actions. It's often referred to with the phrase pool ball atoms. Every movement, every action, every thought you've ever had was simply caused by unbelievably massive waves of energy racing across the universe, knocking atoms into the atoms of your body or of chemicals in your brain to cause everything that you've ever done. It's as if every human is treading water on a stormy sea. You may think that you can swim in one direction or another, but all you're doing is keeping your head at the surface. Currents far larger than you can see are what truly direct you. And while it feels like you're moving one way, it's possible you're being pulled in a different one. Cause and effect constantly changes the trajectory of your existence without your consent or input, and perhaps without even your knowledge. Another model of the universe is governed by what Marcus Aurelius terms the Logos, an ultimate rational consciousness which draws the entirety of the universe to a singular point. The Greek word logos means word or reason, and you can probably tell at a glance that we derive from it the English word logic. This is where the Lich falls. So what about free will in Stoicism? Chrysippus, another greatly influential Stoic philosopher, simultaneously argued for a deterministic universe and human free will. In regards to pool ball atoms, one could state that rational beings are points of origin, which send out their own waves of causality. They collide with each other in what us rational beings perceive as meaningful events, but those events are overwhelmed by greater waves of causality produced by events on a far greater scale. Waves larger than nations. The Logos model of the universe is more like a forward path. Rather than scattered waves pulling in every direction, the Logos directs the universe towards a single endpoint. Every choice made by a rational being creates a separate branching path, and our paths all twist together and entwine around each other like roots of a tree. In the end, the Logos will pull all those errant paths to a singular point. The Lich is an agent of the Logos, one factor in the universe meant to pull all things to that end. And many people say that the Lich is entropy. But what actually is entropy? It has several definitions depending on the field of discussion. One of those is the model which states that all energy in the universe will eventually become evenly distributed, all temperatures across the cosmos becoming homogeneous. The heat death of the universe. Even a purely naturalistic model has room for the universe progressing towards absolute homogeneity, the point at which there are no more branching paths. In this model, the Lich is not evil or malicious. He is simply carrying out his duty to bring all paths to a point. He is the ceaseless forward pull of determinism made manifest. He is the cart that Stoics claim we are all lashed to. This analogy is credited to Chrysippus. It states that all humans are like dogs tied to a cart. We can either decide to walk along with the pull or fight against it and be dragged. In this model, even the most ardent strugglers will eventually be delivered to their destiny. Under a rational logos, it's reasonable to assume that this destiny is good, as a rational force should by nature desire good for other rational beings. This analogy is far gentler than that which the Lich embodies. He espouses crueler determinism. The Lich is a driving force that offers an ultimatum to all who encounter him. Either walk the path I set, or be crushed by me and my followers as we walk it without you.
Mountains of broken bodies beneath the wheel.
Now, you may think that this is a contradictory point to make. If the Logos is drawing us towards an endpoint that is supposed to be good, why is the Lich, an agent of the Logos, evil? Even if you don't believe in Stoicism, you can learn a lot from its beliefs. I mean, if someone lives their whole life gazing into the abyss of causality, you best believe that not much can shake their resolve. No matter what we believe, all of us face uncertainty in life. There are times in our lives when we face wave after wave of setbacks, and it can feel like the whole universe is against us. The Lich, as an aspect of the Logos, represents those setbacks, and thus he is portrayed as evil. Whether there's a grand design to the universe or not, whether that theoretical design is good or not, things don't always go how we expect. Sometimes as a human, you look at whatever you believe rules the universe and say, "Hey, what the fuck, dude?" And whether or not good or evil even exist, humans are almost conditioned to view the world through their lenses, or if not good and evil, at least good and bad. I am good, and all the setbacks I face are bad. Thus, the recurring battle between Finn and the Lich, a representation of humanity against the moralless concept of struggle, is still portrayed in those terms. Finn, humanity, the struggler is good, and the Lich, opposition, the struggle, is evil. So how did the Stoics face their liches? Marcus Aurelius prescribed absolute mastery of our thoughts and emotions. Against all the terrible things in the world, we have the shield of rationale. As rational beings, we can control our perception of events. We can seize opportunity in adversity, and rest when we reach calm waters. It takes constant practice to reach that level of rationality, but within it is absolute freedom from the struggles of life. When you feel yourself pulled under, you can take a deep breath and push through, knowing you'll drink deep of the respite waiting at the surface. But how does Finn face his Lich? With the power of friendship. Well, that's cool, but can we learn anything from it? Absolutely. The path of the Stoic is difficult to walk. Seeking that liberation is a careful process of restructuring your entire mind. You may find Finn's method easier. The Lich's greatest strength is isolation. Alone, no mortal can stand against him. But Finn was never alone. He didn't win by controlling his emotions, but by setting them free. He felt fear for his own life and for those he was protecting. He got pissed at just how insurmountable the Lich felt. Most of all, it was his love for his friends and his love of his own life that gave him the strength to resist that overwhelming opposition. And in every battle, Jake was by his side. One person can chase 1,000, and two can chase 10,000. Humans that stand together are exponential. Against the overwhelming tide that life has in store, we as humans don't stand a chance. That's why we built boats. Whether life is a determined course or random chaos, the waves ebb and flow. So take it easy if you're cruising through calm waters right now. And if you're caught in a swell, cling tight to the wheel. Egress awaits. Oh boy, another video about some stuff. So I wrote a script for it this time, if you couldn't tell. I think I prefer that just because it lets me get my thoughts all in order. I mean, it's not clean by any stretch of the imagination, because in order for something that I make to be considered clean, I need about 4 months of staring at it and changing one word every week. But other than that, pretty awesome. It would be cool to make a video on the new Fiona and Cake episodes that just dropped recently. Or there's going to be new ones soon already, huh? But I don't know. Those episodes were just episode 5 and 6. They're like, they have some stuff going on that's so specific to the entire show as a whole that I feel like it would be really hard to just talk about the episodes individually. But mostly I'm just amazed that they can still just keep making episodes that are exponentially better than the previous ones, which surpassing the first 2 is already a crazy high bar, but the fact that they continue to do it is awesome.